One of the things that I've always associated with barns or shops or kind of basement work areas is an old ass radio. I know you can put in your AirPods, listen to whatever you want. You can walk around with your phone as basically like a broadcasting system. There is something about having an old radio in your shop or an old radio in your barn. It's just, maybe it's because the gray in my quarantine beard is not out of a bottle. I just think it's a thing that has to be there. When we put the basement shop together in the house, almost immediately after I put up the pegboard, because pegboard's near and dear to my heart, I took my dad's old realistic receiver that he gave me, God, in college. Realistic, a division of Radio Shack. Not buying another one of these new ever again.
FM muting, push-button tape monitor, main remote speaker switching, in a genuine walnut veneer case. The ideal control center for your new music system.
We do have a Bluetooth speaker. It's a waterproof one that I picked up at a hardware store. It's not amazing, but it's got good sound. It's a little heavy on the bass, like a lot of the big Bluetooth speakers are. Every other weird ding and buzz and notification that your phone makes comes out of your Bluetooth speaker. So your music and podcast get interrupted by this steady stream of bling, bling, boing, boing. It sounds like Pac-Man is coming in and screwing with the DJ. Not a good look. Now that I have Wi-Fi out here, I can bring out Chromecast devices. Now, this is going to get into a tiny bit of a rant. So if you are a Google employee or have sensitive ears or are still stinging at the cancellation of Firefly, don't say I didn't warn you. All right, you probably heard of a Chromecast. A little HDMI dongle. Sorry, I'm 48. The word dongle still makes me chuckle inappropriately. HDMI adapter that you plug into the back of any television or monitor with an HDMI connection. That's the standard sort of flattish plug that all your video stuff runs on now. Most people use it for playing Netflix or YouTube videos on their television. A small number of people use it for Stadia. I think, anyway, that's what the brochures say. I don't actually know anybody that uses Stadia. Yeah, I'm not going to be nice to Google in the next couple of minutes. Google put out a similar device called a Chromecast Audio. Same price point, about 35 bucks. Took stuff on your phone or on your network or off your smart speaker, and it would play it on whatever audio device you wanted. Had an 1/8" audio jack like you use for headphones or outputs for MP3 players. Whatever you had, it would plug into and it would play audio. About a year ago, I saw that Chromecast Audios went down to $15. The first part of my brain, the Scottish grandfather part of my brain, went, ooh, a sale, and I bought a couple. What really should have happened is my cancellation brain should have triggered. I'm smarter than this, right? I lived through Firefly going off the air. I actually used Google Reader. Oh, I know this is a tough one. Google Reader is a really touchy subject with a lot of people. Google Reader, if you don't remember, was a very, very popular and very simple, just, the UI was perfect on this. Very simple way to aggregate news feeds from websites directly. And then Google discontinued it. And this is still, like, it's been, what, 8-9 years since that happened? Google still catches crap for it on the internet. And it's a reminder to everyone that when a tech company makes a product, it might not survive. So Chromecast Audio has fallen into the Google Reader bucket. Very simple product. The people that use it love it. The people that didn't know anything about it are probably never going to use it. And that's why, okay, I hate to agree with them, but it made some business sense to get rid of the Chromecast Audio. Google, Amazon, they want you to get smart speakers. Smart speakers have their own self-contained sound system. If you want to upgrade in their world, with Chromecast Audio, you could upgrade the sound system, the physical thing that puts the sound out to the speakers. If you buy a rectangle and the rectangle's got good sound on it and you can talk to the rectangle and make the rectangle play your YouTube videos and all of your YouTube TV content and your Netflix and whatever songs you want off Spotify, then the rectangle is easier and the rectangle probably wins. I got that out of my system. I feel a lot better. Now let's look at the speaker setup. This is just a good old-fashioned radio, right? So I'm going to need standard speaker wire, which I got. All right, as part of the YouTube, Facebook Pivot to Video Treaty of 2017, I am hereby obligated to give you a technology unboxing video. This is the world's shortest unboxing video. This is a box of 16-gauge speaker wire. Do not take it out of the box. See this stupid hole right here? Pull the wire out of the box when you need it. Put the box away when you're done. This has been the world's shortest unboxing video. Speakers in the barn. I could reuse some nice speakers that my friend Rachel gave me. I like them a little too much to put them out here. The barn is technically not an outdoor space. However, when you do work out here, you have to treat it as an outdoor space because you're going to get all the bugs and dust and critters and crud that outside gets. You won't necessarily get all the water unless something goes horribly wrong, but you will get all the other nasty side effects of the outdoors, and you don't want them in your speakers. I have ordered a couple of outdoor grade speakers that I can hang from the rafters in the barn. That's going to be my interior sound. But we work outside a lot. I wonder how we're going to solve that problem. I have been waiting to deploy this monster for a long time. Let's take it outside. Friends, neighbors, relatives, even the ones I don't send Christmas cards to, let me introduce you to the wonders of the Cobra Flex 2. It's a university speaker. I don't mean I stole it from a university. I mean, it's made by university. I got this in college. It wasn't made when I was in college. I'm not that old. From an audio quality characteristic standpoint, it lacks a few things. Mostly bass. It's a little tinny. It's a 25 watt 16 ohm speaker. It's designed to be mounted outdoors. When I wanted to clean it off after it got dust on it for sitting in the barn for a couple of months, I legit took the driver out of the back and hosed it out and then had to tilt it to make sure all the water got out. That's the kind of hardware we're dealing with here. This has some serious Radar O'Reilly energy to it. So inside the barn, this is a terrible idea. Please don't put this as an indoor speaker. This is not a light device, okay? So once this is up on the wall, it's up on the wall. So I better like where it goes. So I finally got a chance to pull the speaker wire. I just basically drilled a hole in the side of the wall in the barn office and then pulled the cable through the hole. The speakers I got for the interior aren't amazing. They sound pretty good for $40. They came with the mounting bracket so I could easily hang them off the rafters. They are indoor-outdoor, so I'm going to get my dust resistance. And yeah, they're not hi-fi, but remember, Radio Shack.
In a genuine walnut veneer case.
So as I'm running this along the top of the stalls or the rafters, I'm using my favorite combination of cable ties and these lovely little cable clamps. And you can just take a single screw, run the cable through it, and bridge it to the top of things like stall walls or run them along the rafters. In many places, I'm using multiple cable ties stuck together and zipped around the rafter. Especially towards the speaker, I use it as a strain relief. Yeah, strain reliefs just basically do what they say. They relieve the strain of the cable from the device it's attached to. So leave a little bit of space and then do something to secure that cable. So if you pull too tight on the other end or want to adjust the speaker, it's not so close that it actually pulls the end of the speaker cable out of the speaker. And that's bad audio quality. Now it's time to actually fire up the Chromecast audio. Let's take Android, for instance, any supported application. We'll have a cast icon. It looks exactly like the one you use for Chromecast video. And I just locate the barn speakers on my Wi-Fi network and cast the audio to them. It's pretty simple. There are some other devices out there that will give you an auxiliary jack or an optical jack, and you can get whatever audio you want out of them. Which means if you want to do what I'm doing with Chromecast audio, what are your options? One, buy the kind of off-label device, the Spotify Connect compatible one. If you get into the stuff that's higher end, like superior brand name stereo equipment manufacturers, you're going to be paying like $200. You could use a Bluetooth adapter. There's a way to buy $20, $30, $40 gizmo that connects to your stereo and just takes the output of your audio over Bluetooth and runs that into your stereo system, just through left-right RCA jacks or through an 1/8 inch adapter like you get out of the bottom of your phone, assuming you're not using a recent Apple product. I have my bits and quibbles about Bluetooth. It's not really my favorite thing in the world to use in a situation where you start audio in a large area, say a barn or a house, and then move around, because Bluetooth has limited range. And also, every other notification on your phone comes out of Bluetooth. When you use something that's Chromecasting or using a similar Wi-Fi protocol, it's only the music you're sending to the device, and technically, the Wi-Fi system has better audio quality. Says the guy who just hooked up a tin horn to the outside of his barn, which sounds like an AM radio speaker. Oh God, am I going to have to explain AM radio to this audience? Oh God, I'm old. All right, it's been a little while since we checked in on this project. Quarantine hair is still a thing. I did finish the installation of the sound setup in the barn. Exterior speaker, check. Interior speakers with actual full audio range, check. Realistic STA-77 receiver, Radio Shack, a dandy corporation. Long may it rain. One of the reasons I do really like this receiver, aside from genuine walnut finish, the fact that it's paid for and a little nostalgic, it does have 2 separate speaker outputs. So I can flip the AB knob and either have completely inside or completely outside sound. Problem with this, which I had to rectify with an extra piece of equipment, is that the volume level is not consistent. So the amount of energy that it takes to drive the 2 interior speakers at an acceptable volume causes the exterior speaker to basically blare AM quality radio at the neighbors. Yeah, so I rectified that by putting in a separate volume control. It's an inline volume control that I got off that, South American River-based company. So now I have an independent volume control. It does what they call impedance matching, which means I'm not changing the characteristics of the speaker as I bring the volume up and down. So I don't have to rig something myself. I just spend the money, put 2 screws through it to put it on the wall, and then put a scrap piece of PVC underneath it as a rough cable guide. And yeah, I did do some cable guides inside of the barn office just to neaten things up a little bit, make sure that cable doesn't stray. So now I've got a pretty easy to use barn audio system, which is ready to go so I can have some tunes and podcasts that accompany my next project. What's that going to be? You'll have to stay tuned to find out. Hit the subscribe button, like this video, comments below. What do you want to find out? What have we done that you really didn't like? What could we have done better? What weird thing have you seen in the background that you have a question about? Or what do you think I actually ought to do with the barn next? I've got a list. Susan's got a list. Sometimes they have matching items. Sometimes they're super surprises. But maybe we'll find out in the comments. And remember, my mom watches these, so be nice down there. Till next time, this is Brian signing off from NerdSteading. Keep it real, keep it nerdy, and put some zip ties on it if you don't want it to move.